Today we are doing a Pink Floyd reaction marathon and I'm very excited. This is going to be part one of the marathon where we cover the songs Fearless, Wish You Were Here Live, and Astronomy Domine. If you would like to join us early for part two where we cover the songs Time, Careful with That Axe Eugene Live, and Have a Cigar, you can find the early access link to my Patreon in the description. I've been looking forward to discovering more of Pink Floyd after I reacted to The Wall. You can find that reaction in my Pink Floyd reactions playlist, also down below. And if you don't know me, my name is Ohak Cade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valkada. We have a new song coming out soon called Overload the Reactor. Depending on when you see this, it may even already be out, so I'd love to get your thoughts on that. And the reason we're doing this Pink Floyd marathon today is because they won a poll on Patreon. I think that about covers it. Let's get right into Fearless. So this is the third track on their sixth album, Medal. We're going to listen to the music, I'll give my thoughts on that, and then I will look at the lyrics afterwards, give my own interpretation, and if there is an official meaning available, I will also research that. Let's go. Very chilled start so far. Country vibes, unexpected after what I heard of The Wall. That's a lovely little lick there. Very groovy.
You say the hill's too steep to climb. You say you'd like to see me try.
A little bit of hint of attitude in that one moment. The guitars.
You pick the place and I'll choose the time, and I'll climb the hill in my own way. Just wait a while for the right day, and as I rise above the tree line and the clouds, I look down.
Gorgeous soundscape here.
Hear the sound of the things you said today.
I love that lick, it's so pretty. Just simple ascension of the major scale, right? But it's all about the rhythm of it, where those notes are placed in the bar. Such a beautiful adjustment to the atmosphere here, very slight, a little bit more bittersweet. Very pensive. Nostalgic. Then we have that attitude coming back here, which I like.
See the idiot face the crowd.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here. Really loving this song so far. I just love their ability to write a song that on the surface seems quite simple, but there's so much depth to what's going on. I'm obsessed with that major scale guitar lick. It's sort of the main riff of the song, and these hints of attitude where the mode switches to a slightly more bluesy situation. Right there. I said how a lot of the song was sounding very pensive to me, and then that part gives me like a wake up to reality. I know that this group has multiple vocalists, so I'm not sure who's singing right now. I believe it's David Gilmour here. So his voice is so smooth. And I've mentioned this before, like when I listen to this group, I hear elements of my current favorites who would have been influenced by them. So with David Gilmour's singing style, I am hearing like hints of Tommy Rogers from Between the Buried and Me. It's just so evident how influential this group is. It's crazy. But I love the subtleties of the transitions. I really, really liked this shift in the atmosphere right here. Right here. So pretty. That singing bass, really, really gorgeous. Who plays bass in this group? Roger Waters. And I think he sings sometimes too. Maybe not sometimes, but very often, I believe. And I think Roger is actually doing harmonies on this song. Very cool stuff. Let's keep it going.
Merciless, the magistrate turns round. Frowning. And who's the fool who wears the crown?
I love that extensive atmospheric guitar with all the reverb. Small little hints of improv, just to like keep it human. Very hypnotic, the repetition of this part. I guess this is going to lead us out. Interesting, this group vocal sounds a little bit, not completely in tune, but like half in tune. Sounds like a football crowd. If this isn't a football crowd, I'm really curious to know what it is, because this sounds exactly like an excited football crowd. We did get hints of that crowd towards the start as well, but I forgot to bring them up. They were more subtle. Very enjoyable song overall. I was really into some of those transitions. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about how it ended, because it was progressing so beautifully that I was surprised it settled back into the main riff as an outro, even though we did get some like improvisational solo-y parts. I guess I expected some bigger climax, but it's not really what the song was getting at, I gather. And there obviously must be something to that crowd chant. Okay, so I'm gonna read the lyrics first, gather my own interpretation, and then I'll look at the official meaning, if there is one. So I think this song is just about going for what you want and overcoming obstacles despite the naysayers, despite people who try to discourage you or tell you that you won't make it. The verse says, "You say the hill's too steep to climb. You say you'd like to see me try." And the chorus goes, I'll climb the hill in my own way, and as I rise above the tree line and the clouds, I look down, hear the sound of the things you said today. Basically saying, I'm going to make it no matter what you say. The lines in the verses are a little bit more confusing. Fearlessly, the idiot faced the crowd, smiling. Merciless, the magistrate turns around, frowning. And who is the fool who wears the crown? Maybe just getting at the fact that pursuing the dream might be kind of idiotic if it's that unattainable, but it's still getting at the fact that this idiot is facing the crowd and smiling. He's fearless. Even if it's an impossible dream, he's still going to do it, and that speaks to his integrity as the dreamer, as the person with the goal. Basically implying he's not the idiot, the crowd are the idiots, maybe? And I noticed that the outro is a football chant, I guess. You'll never walk alone, Liverpool. Clapping Liverpool, yeah, so it is a football chant. And I feel like I would have known that chant if I were a football fan, which I'm not, but I do know a football chant when I hear one. Interesting. So according to Genius, this song is actually giving thanks to a certain BBC DJ who supported them. And now that I reread them, I can see it from that perspective. I guess just the first line is what threw me off. You say the hill's too steep to climb. That kind of sounds a bit discouraging. I guess he was just speaking as a matter of fact. Okay, let's move on to the next song. This is Wish You Were Here Live. Let's go. Some spoken word stuff. Pretty sure this is one of their biggest songs, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'll recognize it. They really have a knack for the guitar licks. These really emotionally resonant riffs. This is so beautiful. I'm like welling up a bit. Got something in my eye.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain.
Man, his voice sounds amazing.
Can you tell it being filled from a cold steel rain, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Or did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange?
The song seems to be subtly speeding up a bit. I think that's just like natural inclination. I don't think they're playing to a click. think this might be my favorite song I've ever heard from them.
How I wish you were here. We just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl.
Just gonna pause it.
Year after year.
Stunningly beautiful song. I am absolutely floored. I'm terribly emotional listening to this. So obviously it's a testament to how timeless their music is. Sometimes I do get a bit concerned with revisiting older music because it has influenced so much modern stuff. So you kind of feel like you've already heard it all, right? But there is something to be said for the innovators in the sound, the originators, because that's when the ideas were at their purest, even if the influence traveled down through the generations. You have a timeless classic song here that is hitting a new heart, probably the way it hit your heart, assuming you were a person who heard it when it was first released many years ago. I can assure you I'm experiencing this just as emotionally as you are. His voice sounds incredible. I like that, like I said, there seems to be a natural ebb and flow to their coordination here. I don't believe it's playing to a click. I noticed a slight speeding up of the drum groove and then a little bit of slowing down again, just kind of that natural give and take of a group of people playing together and staying as tight as possible. The drummer is Nick Mason, doing a great job, although it is a very simple song, not in a bad way, but they do have more complex stuff than this. I would even assume his drumming was a little more complex on the last song, but as far as this performance goes, no notes. There's so much to discover in like the scatting, along with the acoustic guitar solo. I'm sure there's lots of really cool little licks that you rediscover on multiple listens here. Very deep song, way more than just your standard ballad. Instrumentally, this is totally next level. The expressiveness in which you play is not even just the melodies, but the humanity of the playing, the emotion. Unbelievable. Let's go back a little bit.
How I wish you were here. We just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here.
Right onto that minor chord, like that, just really going for your heart. And is the guy on keyboards also part of the band? Richard Wright. Yeah, okay. Surprised we're not getting more key solos or something from him then. He's more there as texture. Unbelievable, so good. So good. What I loved about that one too also was the somewhat unusual structure where like, I think we got maybe 2 verses or 3, and the rest was kind of just scatting and solos. It wasn't a standard structure that we know today, I guess, in popular music where it's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. It was totally its own thing, beautifully told story. Mostly consisting of acoustic guitar solos and melodic vocalizations. Also somewhat up in his falsetto too. Impressive range shown. Stunning. Loved it. Let's check out the lyrics. I have a feeling we're not going to be reading very long. I really like these lyrics, even if I don't entirely know what they mean. I think in general they're getting at the idea that if you don't forsake your comfort, you'll never experience healthy change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? The second verse seems to be talking about how a soldier goes to war and they're the one that has to suffer the hot ashes, the hot air, in order to try to create change, while the ones who don't go out fighting are cozy, but they remain in a cage. They're not part of the larger shift. The third verse, we're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? Could that be about two people who are in a loveless marriage, perhaps? And it's that thing, wish you were here. I wish you were on my page, whereas I want to change, but you're not meeting me halfway. We could get to the next level of happiness together, but you're not meeting me there. It could be about a number of different things. Let's see what the actual meaning is. Yeah, so I was kind of onto something with the lyrics expressing that someone is not on the same page as you, because it's about a previous band member who left, Syd Barrett, the founder of Pink Floyd, who left due to mental health issues. Okay. Yeah, the lyrics are heavily drenched in metaphor, obviously, so they can be taken a number of ways, but that's what literally the song is about. Very interesting, very personal, and you can certainly feel that lamenting in the music too. Okay, we're going to move on to the final song of part 1 now, which is the studio version of Astronomy Domine. Again, if you'd like to join us for part 2, where we cover time, careful with that axe, Eugene, and have a cigar, the early access link is in the description. Let's go. Again, some spoken word. They're a pretty highly conceptual band, it seems. There's always some sort of sound effect or, you know, atmosphere. I like that switch into a little bit of funkiness there. Nick is having a blast on this one anyway. By far the most experimental one in this marathon so far anyway. I like how it moves between a lot of dissonance into beautiful harmony and melody. So this is kind of mostly a sort of instrumental type thing. I know we did have some vocals, but they weren't melodic, they were more textural. Hard to know when to pause this. I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. Sorry, I know that probably wasn't a really good time. I like this one. It's unexpected, it's quirky, there's some fun playfulness with like more noisy sections and more musical sections. I was just amused by how like the guitar suddenly just becomes really funky all of a sudden out of nowhere. Or is it? Floating down, the sound resounds around the icy waters underground. That's gas. Really makes the music feel alive. It's like the guitar is just having its own little party off to the side, but it still fits with the larger composition. There's a lot of personality there. This is like, it's memorable. It makes you want to come back to it. Not much to say about the vocals. Obviously, the two voices are well harmonized. I assume this is David and Roger. This track is really all about the instrumental. And as far as the instrumental is concerned, I'm all about it. Keep it going now. Getting really weird now. Masterful tension and release. I think we got that chromatic descent somewhere else in the song, didn't we? Very cute idea. Very mischievous melody in my right ear. Super fun. I really enjoyed that. And we did get some rhythmic interest in the vocals towards the end, which I really appreciated. That part's pretty good too. Yeah, just in general, seems like they were kind of jamming out a bit. It wasn't very strictly composed. I could be totally wrong. If it were strictly composed, I wouldn't be surprised, because it does have a lot of precision going on with regards to the chord progression, for example. But there is also a lot of improvisation and soloing from what I can hear. And the vocals were rigid, but that was appropriate because there was so much else going on. It was an interesting change, right? Often the vocals will be a lot more complex against a simpler instrumental. And this song kind of flipped that on its head. Very complex instrumental, simple vocals. Great stuff. Astronomy Domine. Is it about space, or is there more to it? We did get a lot of like spacey sounds in there. Yeah, so from what I can tell, it really does seem to be just about space, the solar system. There is something about icy waters, and that could be an allusion to like one of the planets, I'm not sure which one, is like covered in ice entirely or something. I'm making a fool of myself now. I'm by no means an astronomer. Let's see what the song is actually about. Yeah, I guess it's about astronomy and astrology a little bit. There's like mentions of Scorpio, Libra, all that stuff. Okay, so one of the annotations says that this was really early space rock. Never even really considered that space rock was a genre. But now that I think about it, I guess it had to start somewhere. And there's some very highly conceptual stuff going on with like the blue representing sadness. And the new way of understanding impulse and drive, we attribute their initial force to the celestial bodies that Syd Barrett describes afterward. Okay, I'm a bit lost. I feel like these lyrics are actually pretty deep and full of symbolism. You could spend a lot of time going through it. Like there's also some psychedelic tendencies here. A reference to Dan Dare, a British science fiction comic hero. Yeah, there's so much going on in these lyrics. I can't possibly cover them all. But I do appreciate that. Another multi-layered song with a lot of different facets. Another classic by the Masters. All right, we're going to move on to part 2 now, where we cover the songs Time, a live performance of Careful with That Axe, Eugene, and the song Have a Cigar. If you'd like to join us early for that, again, the link to my Patreon is in the description. Otherwise, let me know what you think of these songs, what you thought of my analysis. Again, my name is Oha Cade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Falcata, and be sure to also check out my full playlist of Pink Floyd reactions in the description. There's also a link to my full reaction database spreadsheet if you're curious about all of the other music I've covered on the channel. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much and take care.